Bitcoin is trading near $97,000 as of the time of this video, and right now, the entire market and perhaps you are focused on one question. You want to know, is this a real breakout, or is this another fake out that looks strong until it doesn't? Because at levels like this, the difference matters. A true breakout changes positioning, sentiment, and risk appetite across the entire crypto market, which we know what that brings. The infamous bull run, right? But if this is a fake out, this would send the price, Bitcoin's price, right back into the previous range and would punish late buyers that are traders, okay? We know Bitcoin ultimately goes up to $1 million. So really at any price point right now, it is on sale, okay? But if you are trading, then this would be important for you to know. So today we're going to answer that question the right way. We'll start with why Bitcoin is moving now. Then we're going to layer in the signals that actually determine whether moves like we're seeing today will hold or fail and why. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what conditions support continuation and what would invalidate this move quickly. So let's get started. Let's start with the immediate drivers, because a price action always has context. Over the past 24 to 48 hours, Bitcoin's push towards the high 90s has been linked to two dominant narratives showing up across major financial and crypto outlets. First, renewed momentum around US crypto market structure legislation, particularly discussion of clearer regulatory frameworks for digital assets. This isn't about hype. It's about reducing uncertainty for institutional capital. And secondly, we've seen a return of meaningful spot Bitcoin ETF inflows, tracked across issuers like BlackRock and Fidelity. That matters because ETF flows represent regulated capital entering through formal allocation channels, not just short-term speculative leverage. When price moves alongside improving regulatory clarity and real inflows, the conversation shifts from why is price moving to does this move have support? Before we go any further, we need to define what actually separates a breakout from a fake out. A real breakout is not an intraday push. It's price acceptance above resistance. That means Bitcoin holds above the prior resistance zone. In this case, that's the mid-90s area. Across daily closes or breakouts, retests, and defends that level. A fake out looks very different. Price pushes higher briefly, momentum traders pile in, and then Bitcoin fails to hold the level and slides back into the prior range within a few sessions. So the test here is simple. Does Bitcoin stay above this zone, or does it lose it quickly? To answer that, we need to look beyond the candles. And if there is one magic metric that consistently separates sustainable rallies from temporary spikes, it's spot ETF flows. ETF inflows represent capital making deliberate allocation decisions through regulated vehicles. And according to public available data, recent sessions have shown net positive inflows. This matters because history has been clear. Rallies without ETF support tend to fade. Rallies, on the other hand, with sustained inflows are more likely to hold and build structure. You can see issuer level confirmation directly from fund sponsors like BlackRock and Fidelity. So here's how this applies to today's breakout question. If Bitcoin continues to hold above resistance while ETF inflows remain positive, the probability of continuation increases. Now, if price pushes higher, but inflows stall or reverse, the risk of a fake out rises sharply. Flows don't predict price, they explain conviction. Now let's zoom out, because no breakout survives if liquidity conditions are hostile. Bitcoin historically performs best when financial conditions are stable or easing, and struggles, on the other hand, when liquidity tightens aggressively. And right now, liquidity conditions are mixed but not restrictive, with global money supply growth stabilizing relative to prior tightening of phases. This environment doesn't guarantee upside, but it does allow breakouts to work if demand confirms. Liquidity sets the ceiling. Demand decides whether price can climb toward it. Now, let's be precise about regulation. Regulatory progress does not act as a short-term price catalyst. What it does is reduce friction. This view is echoed consistently in policy commentary from US regulators and market infrastructure participants. When institutions believe the rule set is becoming clearer, they don't chase price. They become willing buyers on pullbacks, and that changes market behavior. Instead of sharp sell-offs, you start to see absorption. Instead of fragile rallies, you get structure. And that's why today's regulatory narrative matters, not because it pumps price, but because it supports participation and in the long run. Now, what technical signal matters today? We don't need a dozen indicators for the question. We need one. The 30-day moving average. This acts as a clean regime filter used widely across traditional and crypto markets. When Bitcoin holds above a rising 30-day average, trend conditions are constructive. When it loses that level, risk increases. For today's breakout attempt, this is the line that matters. Acceptance above it supports continuation. Failure below it reinforces the fake-out scenario. No drama, no overfitting, just structure. So what is the answer to today's question? And the question I know most of you and most of the market is asking. Well, a Bitcoin, as we're seeing today, near $97,000, can be a real breakout if the market shows acceptance through daily closes and continued ETF inflows, which is what we'll be covering and following closely here at my channel. And right now, the structure is constructive, but not confirmed. The invalidation is clear. Lose the level, see flows fade. And this becomes another range failure. That's not bearish. It's a disciplined, unbiased perspective. Though if you know me and you know what I believe and what I've been talking about and sharing here based on data, here at my channel is that I believe Bitcoin ultimately goes up to $1 million. So what I'm sharing with you here today is like the weather. It's the journey. And I share it with you because the edge you have in this market, in these volatile times, isn't predicting what happens next in the short term. It's in connecting the dots and understanding what it is telling you and stepping aside when these factors don't line up insofar as it pertains to immediate daily trading, which I do not encourage here at my channel. My channel is an informative one, it's an educative one, and it's one primarily dedicated to investors. I am not a trader. I'm simply sharing with you what is going on in the market today and whether a Bitcoin at $97,000 represents a sustainable breakout or is part of Bitcoin's journey, as I've said again and again here. And ultimately, I will say it again, we know Bitcoin's going to $1 million. And that's all we have to know and take with us today. So if today's breakout helped you, like the video and share it with a friend or family member that needs to know what's going on. I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you guys here in my video tomorrow.